Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk about what I liked about my job, my last job at Teleperformance. And one of the things I liked about it was that I got to work at home. So before the pandemic, whenever you ask people about work at home options or staying at home and doing your work, companies would be like, what are you talking about? You can't stay at home and work. We need you in the office. You can't do that. But after the pandemic, everybody now has work at home options. And some of the banks had it even before that. So when I worked at HSBC, they had work at home options. And that was something that I liked because sometimes you have to work late at night and you're not comfortable like working till 12 at night. It was overnight, and HSBC had given me a laptop because it wasn't a requirement. Most of my work was done Monday to Friday from 9 to 5, and there was very few occasions, in fact only one time that I had to work from home for them. But they had started those policies long before COVID or any of this had started, and they had the option. So they gave us laptops and everything was set up before you got to the job. And this is a norm with the banks. It's not something that you get there and then your ID is not working and this is not working. They haven't done the setup. So when I did the onboarding at TD, we had a form that I used to get the managers to fill out, and then I passed that to IT, and then I would go and give people their welcome, onboard them, help them to see where they were sitting. And I did that for everybody, including the consultants that came to us from Deloitte and Accenture and all of those places. I did it at CIBC, at TD, at HSBC. That was part of my responsibilities. And the other thing that I liked about Teleperformance is that I could use my own facilities. So I can use my own washroom, my own kitchen. I can get up and have a cup of coffee. I'm not eating other people's food, going to get takeout. So I really enjoyed my job. And also they, initially they didn't like us telling them where the problems were. But over time, they realized that we are in the front lines. We know where the problems are. So they would take on board that and try to improve things with the client. We had many calls where we had some strange people, and it wasn't just me that was noting it. There was women that used to just call and weep on the phone. And so we started reporting it, and it wasn't only coming to me. There was one time where 3 or 4 of us got this woman weeping in the background, and just weeping, and she wouldn't say anything. And we reported it, so because we have to. Like sometimes those calls are suspicious, right? You never know if somebody's being trafficked or somebody's being held hostage, or, you know, I mean, why would somebody call a contact center and just sit and weep on the phone? So we reported those. We also had strange people calling and masturbating. Yes, actually masturbating. I don't know if they think that people that work in contact centers are not doing legitimate jobs, but it was disgusting. So we report that. Also when we had suspicious activities, so fraud orders, people using other people's information, credit cards, we got to take our training, whatever we learned in anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing, and we got to actually use it in our jobs to track the accounts, to notice suspicious things. Sometimes it's an email that's different, sometimes it's a phone number, sometimes it's whole orders that get used fraudulently. So I really enjoyed the job. I'm going to miss it, and I'm still applying for other contact center roles and other more senior positions. But I think until you actually get into a job and you do it, you don't know whether you're going to like it or not. And also our supervisors were very good. I am not a patient person. I mean, people say I'm patient, but I don't think I'm patient. I have to really apply myself to be patient with people sometimes, especially when I get people who are deliberately being difficult. But yeah, the supervisors are trained well, and I also got to fulfill some of those supervisor roles. I didn't have the title, or I didn't have the official title, but I got to shadow, have people shadow me. I got to mentor people. I got to help the new people coming in. And I had a lot of help adjusting to the contact center role, because for me, after losing job after job after job, it was very traumatic. So I found it very, very hard to get back into that role, because it was completely different. I mean, in banking, I was putting together presentations, I was taking down action items at meetings, distributing them, I was doing the chairing of the calls, sending out the agendas, managing my own calendar. So it was very different to what I did in the contact center. In the contact center, now and again, I would set up meetings where I had to call a customer back or follow up on something. And then also I helped with events. So during COVID, what we did on one of our campaigns, we chose a date and a time, and we all watched a movie at the same time, and then we met the next day. We had a meeting to say what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. The other thing that is popular now is adult coloring. So there was a competition for that. And one year there was an event for Valentine's Day where they surprised us. They sent us cookies at home, little heart-shaped cookies. So we've had some nice times together, and we don't expect that. In Canada, it's not, I mean, I know in Africa people are seeing a lot of different things done, and even one of the girls that worked in Egypt was telling me it's completely different. They have like 3-course events and all this, and I've seen the pictures of what South Africa is doing. But here in Canada, we don't expect that. So it was a nice surprise for us, and I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed helping the company to get better. And it wasn't only me, all the other agents also gave them feedback about those weird calls and people sitting and weeping on the phones and all the sex and all that. It was awful. And there was one campaign I didn't like, because we had to sell stuff for retail, and people would call in about their sex toys and their sex dolls, and I mean, for me it was just a bit too much. That's not my thing. So I enjoyed the sports campaign the most, because it was normal things. It was sports gear, equipment, clothing, and it was just normal things. So yeah, I'll miss it. And I make a note when you're in transition, when you're unemployed, they always tell you, like, make a note of your strengths, make a note of what you can offer future employers, make a note of what you learned on the job, so that when you take those things and you go for interviews, you can speak to them. And even if I had to get something in career counseling or like with an outplacement firm, I would be able to draw on all these skills and help other people. So I think it's, for me, just about remaining open and seeing what's coming up. But it is frustrating when you're sitting at home and you're sending out applications and trying to get back into work. It is very frustrating. So all I can do is keep applying, and hopefully before I know it, I'll be back at work. So I'm enjoying these days that I have. I'm enjoying going to Mass, getting up early in the morning, taking my photos, and my body's adjusted as well, because when I'm at rest and when I'm well, I get up very early. I get up at 5:30. If I'm stressed out and all that, I put my alarm on, because I need that alarm to wake me up. But it's a beautiful day here. I always love it when I wake up and there's sunshine. And when I lived in England, there was always rain all the time. I enjoyed that as well, but I prefer the sunshine.